Going on, y'all? Paul the Barbarian here. I know we're not doing a lot. I'm not doing another video with my face in it because I figured I'll give you guys some representation a little bit better. So what I'm going to talk about, I have in front of me my armor repair kit. This is usually what I take to events. This is what I take to things so I can fix whatever problems. I can hand it off to one of the squires or somebody else that's there for support and go, hey, watch this, but if there's a problem on the team or a problem with me, here we have all the tools to do it. It's just one of those things that I've built up over time. I'm going to point out some important things that I like to have in there. Some things that'll make it easier for you guys to work on your armor and fix stuff. Armor repair is very important. And we all have to do it. It's constant. It's always a thing that we always have to deal with. Armor breaks down. You need to take care of it so you're not like stressed out and dealing with a situation at tournament, like in the middle of a fight or anything else like that. So let's go ahead and I'll move this up a little bit. Open her up here. And this is just my opinion. These are tools that I've found that have worked for me over time, and some specific things that I usually like to have with me. You don't have to have all these things, but they come in handy, and I've found their use to be very optimal in the ways that I have to do things. So let's just start out. I'll start out with the bigger things that are in here. Obviously, we have a ball peen hammer. I usually have a medium weight hammer. It's not super heavy. It's not super light. You don't have to worry about anything else like that. Next thing we have is long-handled nippers. These are bull-nosed nips. They're made by Crescent. There's a, I think this is the tool code GGO14. I bought these off of Amazon. They were 20 bucks. They're the 14-inch handles, I think, or 12-inch handles. These are amazing for cutting through rivets. They you can get real bear down on them and you can clip it. And this extra handle length gives you leverage, so you're not trying to bust your hand up trying to cut these things. And they're tough as hell. I use them for all kinds of stuff, things that you would never really think to. They can get pretty sheer to things. They make life a little bit easier when you're cutting rivets. Next thing we got in here, I have a knife. Knives, always important. I usually use a razor knife. This is actually a knife that's been bouncing around inside all of my bags, and I just decided to throw it in there and keep it in there. Usually have razor knives in there, but that works as well. Sharp as hell. I'll go over those in a minute. We have a hole punch. Rotary. This is a rotary hole punch. Try and find a better version, because I don't know if you can tell, these things are bent. I've used these a lot, but they still punch a little bit, and I've broken different things off of them. They're pretty useful. They come in handy just popping holes and stuff. So got some tape. This is also pretty in-depth, because being an Eagle Scout, thing is always be prepared. I'm prepared for most fixes that I have to do. This seems like a lot of stuff. You don't have to all this stuff. Make a basic kit so you can fix stuff at the tournament, and you don't have to really go running around screaming trying to find an armor. If the armor is busy fixing something else that's really important for another fighter, and like it's another team's armor or something like that, you don't want to have to depend on other people. Sometimes you want to make sure that you have your ass covered. Next thing, this is biothane. This is my spare strapping material. This is actually nylon strap imbued with vulcanized rubber. It's really nice, comes in handy. It doesn't really rip off. I am slowly transferring all of my leather straps to this stuff where it's applicable. You can get it in all kinds of sizes. It's called biothane. I'll try and find a link and put it in the description below. So we got some tape, we got some spare strapping. This is needle and thread. This is that wax coated thread that I had. You can use sinew or whatever it is. I have 2 leather working needles in here because that's primarily what we're sewing through, is leather and gamisons and such. So you want to have something pretty tough there. All these extra straps that I've got here that are already set with buckles and everything else like that on them. These are like the quickest armor repair that's not tape. A couple of the leagues are trying to frown upon using tape. You don't want to have giant silver duct tape on your $5,000 suit of armor. There's no reason to have that. It looks tacky and stupid. I have athletic tape just in case of doing some really quick stuff. But these are also really fast, because I call these things garter belts, because I put holes all the way back to here. Basically, if you lose like an arm strap or a leg strap or something's just not sitting right, you can just take it. These are new, so they need some time. I've beaten them up a little bit. So you do that, you can tighten it all the way down to as tight as you need it, and it holds your armor. It looks correct. You can tuck the tail of it somewhere else. There's a keeper here. I try not to use buckles that have that are only one-sided, like just like that half. I try to get ones with the keeper because you don't want to have all this extra junk floating around. But I have a couple of these. These are actually really nice. They come in really handy. I keep them in my bag. So what else we got here? I have just a spare chunk of leather for making arming points or anything else like that I need to take care of. It's a good stout piece of leather if I need to replace a strap that's just not like the size of biothane that I have sitting around. Oh God, I have a chunk of steel. This is a block of steel. I actually think this is from an old printing press. These things are pretty gnarly. It's a solid hunk of steel. You don't really, I use this as an anvil, as a quick anvil. I can turn it on my side and use it. I can turn it on its flat face. I can turn it on its end. Like, you can reach most things with this kind of thing. And this is just for quick rivet repairs if you have to do something really fast. You can use it as a hand anvil if you've ever seen something like that where you take it, car repair people do it with doing siding or doing paneling. You hold it, you put it inside of something, hold it there, and then you're banging on it using it as a hand anvil. Use it like that. Oh, what else we got in here? I got some 550 cord in here. I have a very small amount of 550 cord in here. 550 cord with the innards ripped out of it. I don't like having innards in it. Usually I fuse the ends of it, like melt it down and just make it a point so it's a little bit easier to use. Pull the innards out because the innards actually make it harder to get a good knot that'll stay. You make it thin. A couple HMBs having problematic with using anything 550 cord, anything that looks super synthetic. They're trying to get away from that, so you use leather thong, which is like the same width of leather, just cut down to this fucking ribbon style, and then you use that for ties. Dry rot's a little easier, so you have to use some oil and such. I have some just general standard tools here. These are a set of just snippers for smaller places if I just need to cut some stuff. I don't try to cut rivets with these things because that's hellish on these things. They break. You're also beating the heck out of your hands. You probably won't be able to get through a steel rivet with these things, just because the density and everything else like that, and these guys don't have the leverage that you really want. Pair of pliers. Pliers are always good. If you have to sew something through your gambeson real quick, you want to be able to yank the needle through with that. And a flathead screwdriver. Flathead screwdriver come in handy just for either holding down a burr or setting, prying on some. Otherwise, like, you never know. Screwdriver. Simple, easy, cheap. And then a Sharpie. I have a Sharpie in there. What else we got in here? I got a bunch of stuff in here. Like, this seems like a lot, don't it? Like, I have a whole bunch of junk. I'll just pan that over. See, that's the whole bunch of junk and everything else like that. Like, I don't know. Other than those nippers, the most expensive thing in here is probably the biothane. Otherwise, like everything else, you can just kind of gather over time. Like, I probably have, this is probably 40 or 50 bucks, but this can fix just about anything that really breaks at tournament, anything really heinous. Like, otherwise, like catastrophic failures, like a clasp on your helmet or something wacky, which you can always fix. This is the next thing I have is actually pretty handy for that. If you have something that like doesn't need to go anywhere and it's not really riding on your body, I use wire. This is baling wire, and I know this seems ridiculous, seems weird, but this stuff is pretty stinking durable. You can do it tight. You can do it as a loose tie. I actually had the instead of having straps on the inside of my gauntlets, I put this wire and I tucked everything. I rolled everything over real nice, so nobody was getting jabbed with it. But actually, it held up fairly well and it didn't get in the way of me gripping things. Weird, I know, but this stuff comes in handy. I've wired up so many things in my kit, like at tournament, just to try and fix it and stuff like that. And it's good in a pinch. It's nifty. You can bend it over real quick, and it is what it is. It works. It's tough. That's the biggest thing. I try to use the things that are the toughest and they can deal with the damage as much as humanly possible, because it's a pretty brutal sport. It's really, really gnarly on your gear. You need to be able to take care of your gear. It's a big thing. I'm going to do a couple videos about building straps and doing some buckling and everything else like that. What else we got in here before I go into this little box? I got spare chunks of like leather in there and everything else like that. This nifty little box, it's got a hole in it. Doesn't really matter though. Nothing really falls out of it. This is full of rivets and other such things for doing rivety stuff. This is a rivet set. This is for setting burrs on top of your rivets. You see that hole? You actually like bang, you put this down on top of the burr, and then you bang it down and it sets it so you don't have to worry about like trying to hold it in place. These are really nice. If you have really long rivets, sometimes you have to notch them down because that hole only goes to like so deep. So that's good for doing riveting. That's the standard riveting tool. I have a little sewing punch here. I have a 4-drop because this just fits. You can like move it to one side or another, get 2 holes or something like that. A really simple awl. These things come in handy, like if you have to poke holes through gambeson or you have to get through some leather. This is a metal punch. This is for punching a rivet. Like if you've nipped down the rivet on a piece of steel on your arm or something like that, you need to like get the actual, like the rest of the rivet out. You take this, you put it on top of the rivet head, and then you bang it out the other side. I know it seems really over-prepared, like I have a lot of stuff sitting here, but this is all pretty simple stuff and it's pretty straightforward things. Like I have an extra buckle that's made up so I can just like attach it to something real quick. That's actually an old one that's ripped off, but I got enough there to put another hole in it. I have a bigger hole punch here, standalone hole punch. I use those a lot. I have 2 already made up arming points in here, just in case one rips off, that I can just real quick like go, okay, we've got a half-hour break between this fight and the next fight. Let's go ahead and put a new arming point on it because that's what hangs your armor on. So you kind of want to have it set up nice. The rest of this is all different kind of hardware. I've got some D-rings in here. I've got some small buckles. The rest is rivets and burrs. Like I have copper roofing nails. I have steel dome top rivets that I use in a couple of different applications on my armor that are a little bit more stout. I've got small rivets in here. This is all just a menagerie of collection over time. It just takes time to build up some of this stuff, but you can get just have some pretty standard rivets, solid copper rivets. You don't really want to don't use pop rivets, just pop. That's why they call pop rivets. They're not stout enough to deal with what we deal with. I use solid post rivets. These are copper roofing nails. I got some steel roofing nails in there, but I've got some regular copper rivets in here as well, and burrs that go along with them. I either have copper burrs, I have steel washers. A burr is a washer. Like that is a burr. It's just a simple washer. It goes on the rivet, and that acts as a washer basically, and you can peen around it and everything like that. So that is my armoring kit. Like it seems like a lot, but it's really not. Like I say, it's probably, if that, $50. $60, and this will fix 90% of what you run into at tournament, armor problems, everything else like that. I'm just putting out little pieces of information, little videos here to give you guys a little bit better information, give you a better idea how to go about this stuff. This will make your life 10 times easier. You keep it in a nice little bag, you throw it in the car, you take it to tournament. I usually if I'm flying with this, I usually truncate it down. I usually don't bring the anvil. I take out a couple of things, don't bring some of my bigger stuff, but I still bring this stuff with me because I don't know who's going to be there and what they're going to have. So just thought processes and ideas. You guys got any suggestions? You got any questions? I'll try and find the links for some of the more special tools that I have in here, but I can point you in a direction for most of it. You have any questions, comments, or anything else like that, throw them in the comments below. I got the link tree down in the description. We got new t-shirts out. We got multiple different styles, multiple different designs. And really, it is what we got. We're coming into February. Carnage is next week. I'll probably put this out after Carnage. But we've got a couple of things coming down the pike. I'm going to be doing some singles fight. We're going to be doing some singles fighting. I'm going to be doing live streams of that. And y'all, be easy. Stay safe. We're in a crazy time here in the world. But namely, get vicious or get out.